Making others happy. Most people have a natural innate desire for a happy life. And notwithstanding a tendency for misery to love company, at least when we are satisfied and content, most of us want others to have happy lives as well. It stands to reason that we would try to make each other happy, and so often we do try. Sometimes we're even successful, maybe even pleased with ourselves for it. But this seemingly innocuous task of trying to make others happy is rife with pitfalls. Certainly there is no problem intending to create joy in the world, maybe by offering support, maintaining a positive attitude, or sharing a sense of humor, for example. What becomes problematic, however, is if you begin to compromise yourself. Compromise is almost sure to backfire in the end. If we step back and examine why we want to make each other happy, on one hand, we've already answered that it is a natural human tendency. But it's also true that we always are seeking some form of payoff, regardless of whether it is an external reward or some form of internal satisfaction. This is true of all of our actions. We discontinue behaviors that do not begin to generate some payoff relatively quickly. Take Mother Teresa, for instance. She may appear to act selflessly, and may even outwardly encourage this allegedly selfless behavior, but certainly her actions generate some internal satisfaction that she is behaving correctly and in accordance with her faith and beliefs. Another example may be an individual that engages some form of self-mutilation. Though it is probably intensely painful and physically damages the body to some extent, that intensity itself is usually strong enough to distract an individual away from some other state that he or she finds even more painful. When it comes to making others happy, often the payoff is simply to make ourselves feel better. We want other individuals to feel good so we can share in that experience with them. It is very common to experience joy in conjunction with others, and it can be quite difficult to allow ourselves to be happy when other individuals in our vicinity, especially those we care for, are unhappy or upset. So often we misunderstand what is occurring when someone is unhappy, and assume they need our help, regardless of whether it is requested or not. But trying to force help on someone when it is unwanted is discounting, not helpful. Energetically, it asserts that the person is somehow malfunctioning and not acceptable or good enough in their current state of being. But perhaps the most detrimental scenarios are the insidious ones in which others genuinely want us to make them happy. Patterns can develop where every time a person becomes upset, he looks to another to cheer him up. And the individuals doing the cheering up reinforce their own payoffs each time it works out. This is common in intimate relationships. The arrangement isn't necessarily an issue unless compromise begins to occur. With compromise, there is almost always an underlying expectation that there will be some form of eventual reciprocation, some tit for tat. It is an idea that you give something up, but will get something back in return. But if that reciprocation never happens, which is so often the case, resentment tends to build and conflict tends to arise. But surprisingly, it can be worse when the reciprocation actually does occur, because it perpetuates a cycle of mutually compromising codependency. Such scenarios easily result in energetic confusion about who is who in a relationship. It makes it easier to lose touch with what is important to you, with what you genuinely want to pursue and explore in life. It can be harder to tell what truly inspires you in the moment, or what choices resonate with your genuine personality and preference. Though ending these highly codependent, pair-bonded relationships can be particularly traumatic, some individuals pursue them nonetheless. They are not uncommon in the special case of parent-child relationships, but even in these, just like fingerprints, No two individuals are here with identical tones and intentions, not even twins. And though a great deal of harmony is possible between people, it is always advantageous to be clearly aware of what is you and your energy and what is not. This can be tricky sometimes because we are interconnected. Interconnection is our natural state of consciousness. This fact is very evident in the way our energy fields superimpose and combine with one another. We often want to feel close to others, for there is a great deal of satisfaction and love possible when we recognize our connections and share in our experiences together. It is possible, however, to be deeply interconnected with others and to remain uncompromising of yourself. These two are not mutually exclusive. It may be hard to believe, but to truly help others, you must prioritize your own alignment first. I am not implying you place every wish and want you have in every moment above every one around you, but I am expressing that compromising what is important to you for the alleged benefit of another will likely be counterproductive in the long run. The energy expressed will be tainted with the idea that you are giving something up for someone else because they are somehow incapable of achieving it themselves, which is a premise that is quite false. The happiness or any other emotional state of another individual is out of our control and in truth is not our responsibility. Our only true responsibility is for our own energy and maintaining alignment with our genuine personalities and guidelines. That task is more than challenging enough without being overly concerned for others. And the more often we can accomplish it, the more that happiness we seek can naturally manifest.